All right, House of Payne fans, we're talking Season 10, Episode 15, entitled Stop, Shop, and Roll. I will say that this episode did feel really relatable in regards to the Ella storyline, because I was actually browsing online for Black Friday deals on like Walmart and other websites before I was actually watching the episode. I watched the Oval first, I browsed sales, and then boom, click the episode. So 4 minutes in, I'm like, oh damn, okay, this is exactly what I'm doing. I'll give this episode probably a solid 7 out of 10 for a few reasons. Number one, I truly loved the Malik and Lisa storyline, which yet again reinforces the fact that the episode Tyler Perry wrote for this particular season, I know it was a couple weeks ago. What episode was it? Because I remember just not liking that episode at all, because it felt like a pure regression of both of these characters and their relationship as we've seen them grow together throughout season 10 so far. Home Invaders, that's what it was. Home Invaders. But basically, this episode had so many references to past characters and whatnot. The first scene was Ella on the phone with Clarita, and yes, an old character's name was brought up, and apparently Clarita gave her info on a website where basically free shipping, 50% off, and we're talking clothes, kitchen essentials like pots and pans, you name it, they got it. So before diving into the review, which I don't think is going to be that long, like I said, 7 out of 10, I feel is a decent enough score for an episode that had me going, that was actually pretty good. So before breaking it down, folks, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe. We are only a few hundred people away from 190,000 subscribers. Hit that bell icon to select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So we have Miranda actually swinging by. And it's funny because when Ella says Miranda's by, she says, I know she comes over here a lot. Clarita said that on the phone. But basically, she's over there because apparently Ella asked her to come over and there was a package waiting for her. And look, ever since I moved home, the amount of times that UPS, and I believe the brand of the truck is called Budget, they're the ones that swing by this part of Virginia where I live, when they have like, packages from like Walmart or GameStop. So it's funny how many times the truck comes by per week with things I order online. Not to say my mom is essentially Ella, because she has so many boxes just randomly stacked up around the house that have not been opened yet. Oh, this is Christmas decorations, or these are plates for the kitchen. Oh, here's a shirt. Here's some shoes I bought. It's hilarious. So she wants to hide these receipts from Curtis and things like that, so he doesn't know about it, even though, I mean, it's her money, But then, it's married couples. It is what it is. But in the midst of trying to hide, I ain't gonna lie, those shoes are pretty fly. I like those shoes Ella bought. Floyd comes in. I thought it was Curtis calling from a distance. Like, it sounded like Curtis's voice, but actually it was Floyd coming in. I believe the shoes were stuffed in the oven. And, he was going to the barbershop. Again, a nod to, what he does. I'm like, oh, snap, he was going to the barbershop. I was waiting for them to drop some of the names of the barbershop crew. But there was a family that had a carbon monoxide leak. So, police, ambulances, and everything were blocking traffic. So he thinks he needs to check all the detectors in the house in order to make sure everything is safe. But Curtis asked him to do that because apparently Curtis and Janine are downtown covering for CJ. I guess it has something to do with the fire department or whatever. And I'm like, okay, good job explain. I feel like Jasmine was the only character not mentioned in the episode, because they did a good job of like covering, oh, this character's doing this character's doing that. And I honestly like it because it makes it so, yeah, these characters still exist in the show, but at least we know what they're doing, as opposed to them not just being there for big events, even though this episode didn't have a lot of big events for everybody to be there for. It's nice to hear these names. Let me just focus on the Ella storyline. I'll get to the Malik and Lisa stuff later. So let's see here. Ella keeps shopping. Also, Floyd wanted something in the kitchen to eat, some pizza. He wanted to heat it up in the oven. My mom does the same thing. Microwave makes it soft. Oven feels like they really cook it. And, the shoes are in there. So I do admit the first like 5 to 6 minutes, basically prior to the title sequence showing up, it did feel like it dragged just a bit too long. I will say it did feel like a Payne's episode where it's like the first 10 minutes we're going to drag out this one little joke, and that's the fact that Ella does too much online shopping, so we need to hide it from Floyd about everything he does, everything she's doing, so Curtis doesn't find out. I mean, if it was Curtis, I get it, but why are you hiding this from Floyd? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, she's still shopping. Floyd is looking over the safety list, and apparently he makes a allusion or a nod to the fact that Christian is an arsonist or a potential arsonist, and Miranda's like, he was just playing with a candle, thank you very much. So again, another, mention of another character. Oh, except for the twins, but we'll get to that. Malik and Lisa are invited to come over to the house later on to learn about fire hazards and safety and things like that. And Ella's getting more deliveries as the episode goes on, and who's knocking at the door? Who's ringing the doorbell? Who are all that, packages and all from? Your boyfriend? No, it's my business. Show. Show it looks good to me. Yeah, I love the fact that it was a Johnny Gill reference. I will admit, the Floyd portion of the episode, it felt more like a Tyler Perry play, whereas the Malik and Lisa storyline truly felt like a Tyler Perry episode of a show. I feel like that's what made this episode flow so nicely, for me anyway. Yeah, after the situation with the packages, Malik and Lisa, they have the house to themselves for a few days. Not sure why, but they just do. And Lisa calls him out for having a problem being on his phone when they're at the movies, where they're at dinner, even at church. He's always on the phone instead of paying attention to her. And she has 2 tickets to the Hawks game from a friend named Shelly in their front row seats. And if he could stay off social media and his phone for 24 hours, he gets the tickets. And he says, oh yeah, my buddy Kwame at school helped me out in history so I can pay him back. And after that, they go over to Ella's house, and it's pretty not much to say here. Floyd's just, going above and beyond to teach them about, hazard things, hazard tips, and, how to not be in situations with gas leaks or fires. And yeah, I mean, I agree with Floyd that just because your baby isn't born yet, you shouldn't wait to learn about safety hazards. I agree with that. It's never too soon. Yeah, I 100% agree. But it's just the fact that he's doing too much, and he's like, there's a 7 phases or 7 stages of this training, and they don't want to stay for that because Lisa is starving. When she mentions like tenders and a shake, I'm like, Lord, I wish I had some cookout around here. But afterwards, Floyd goes into the garage because he was going to get the first aid kit, but of course, Ella was hiding boxes in the closet, and he rushes off to the garage, and apparently he gets, bombarded with an avalanche of boxes because one of the shelves fell, and apparently that's due to the fact that Ella has bought so much stuff that she hid it in the garage, basically causing a safety hazard, because I believe that Floyd was trying to get some sort of blanket, and yeah, apparently he got hit with like a mini grill and things like that. And Ella says, you know what, I did all this because it felt like I didn't have to ask Curtis for permission. It was just my money I was spending. It was half off, free shipping. It felt like a sense of financial freedom, but I learned my lesson, and I'm going to send all this back. I don't really see where the lesson was learned or what lesson had to be learned because, like Floyd said, why wouldn't Curtis be okay with it? You're getting things at a decent price, and, I didn't feel like I had to ask him to buy everything for me. And I'm like, I don't really, this was one of those, if Curtis was in the episode, maybe he could call out Ella. It's like, look, I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but you have to admit you're buying more than what you need. Like, you have all these boxes, but how many of them have you actually opened? How many clothes that you bought have you worn? How many of these kitchen, things like pots and pans have you used? There's a difference between hoarding versus buying things at a great deal that are essential to your house, hobbies, or whatever. So it felt a bit meh on that. But aside from that, Malik actually won the bet. But he gave both tickets to Kwame because he figured, yeah, they're front row seats, but the best seats in the house are just, chilling with his wife, getting to know her, and spending quality time together. And I love that. This was a great episode when it came to the Malik storyline. I really like that. So, yeah, I feel like a 7 is a decent enough score because one lesson definitely outweighed the other, even though the Malik and Lisa storyline took up less time of the episode. But I will say that if it were me, I'm surprised Lisa just didn't take the phone for 24 hours. Because if I were Malik and I wasn't able to use my phone or social media for 24 hours, I would just put it away in a box or something. Why carry the damn thing around if I can't answer it, But then again, if they aren't in the house 24 hours, and I see that because emergencies could happen and you want to make sure you have a phone. But yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. Like, I'm pretty sure I got a couple packages coming today, and I know for sure later this week and early next week between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I'm going to be buying a lot of stuff online. But let me know your thoughts on the episode in the comment section below. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. But at the very least, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe.